Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Katie, and Katie liked to play The Sims. One day, Katie realised her computer was not behaving as it should be, doing all sorts of weird stuff. One day perhaps Katie will show you a video of some of the absolute madness that was occurring. One day it decided to have some sort of yellow rave. That was a fun one. Honestly, the monitor was flashing white and yellow. No idea why. Not a thing that I've ever seen a computer do before. But before the computer started to have some sort of breakdown, Katie started a build. This build. A build of Geppetto's workshop from the story Pinocchio. Now, Katie didn't just want to do one little building on its own, as it didn't really feel right. So she did 3 little buildings. The other buildings don't have anything in them, so don't get too excited. But the middle one does. Wow. Bet you're riveted. Anyhoozles, Katie decided to use all the things she'd got from the new pack, Cottage Living, for this build. She'd been excited about the pack because it meant she could do all sorts of new story type builds and lots of fairy tales and cottagey things. But for some reason, she got a bit freaked out. The idea of using it to make these traditional storybook cottages just seemed a little bit cliche and like a little bit too much pressure. So she went, nah, I'm gonna do something that isn't anything to do with cottages. I'm going to make a shop and a little workshop behind it and a little home above it. Adorable. Katie decided to use this cash register that she made for her witch shop quite a while ago. It's on the gallery, but it's not on YouTube, I'm afraid, if you were hoping for a video. But what she did was channel Sadie Sim and used the tool mod by Twisted Mexi, who we all know and adore, to create a cash register that didn't look like a modern one. At some point soon, Katie will also be bringing out a medieval market made for a collab with Divan the Simmer. And you'll see that cash register there too, because Katie made one once. It took ages, and she never intends to do it again. So, if you want a fantasy or old-fashioned cash register, or as I like to call them, as we do in the UK, a till, it'll be this one, over and over again. I say over and over again because it's really annoying to place. If you don't put it exactly where it wants it, it'll get really annoyed with you. I say it, I mean the game. I feel that The Sims gets angry with me personally sometimes. Maybe I've just gone insane, but I have had quite a long time without a computer and have been getting very irritated by that and possibly going slightly mad without it. Katie, of course, has another computer, her MacBook, and also an iPad, and of course a phone. So she's had plenty of opportunities to use technology to contact people or to play games even. But I tell you what she couldn't do, and that was play The Sims, or make videos about The Sims. And you know what Katie really likes doing? Playing The Sims and making videos about The Sims. So it was quite an irritating period of her life, even if it only was for a month or so. The weird thing was, that computer could still play Valheim. So that's good. It is quite a simple game, although I've heard recently people are having lots of trouble with lag. I can't say I've had that problem, and that computer didn't seem to want to crash playing Valheim, but it wouldn't play The Sims for more than about 10 minutes without just doing something weird like the yellow rave. I come back to that one because it was the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. Luckily, Katie has quite a few friends who happen to be gamers. Funny that. And one of them offered to sell his old PC. Thanks, friend. If you're watching this, you might not be, because I know you're not that into Sims content when it's this sort of thing. But I appreciate you selling me the PC, because I really needed a new one. So, Katie started this build and this video a long time ago. She actually finished the entire thing. The build was done, the video was done, it was all finished, but she couldn't edit the footage. But a few days ago, she came back to this footage and went, oh, it basically just needs a little bit of cutting together of the tour at the end, and the voiceover. That seems easy enough. So she went into the other room and got her microphone and her audio device set up, and then thought, you know what, I'll record the voiceover and then I can edit it together and get this video out, because I have way too many things on my to-do list right now, regarding videos that is. Also regarding everything else in her life. Who am I? It's all gone a bit Pete Tong, hasn't it? Never mind. There's a little ballerina. I moved her. No, Katie. I wonder how long this narrator will be able to keep this up. If you're new to this series of Speed Build Storytime, you're probably quite confused, but the idea is that I'm talking about someone called Katie, but I'm Katie in real life. Spoilers, I know, but I'm sure that you probably knew that by now, that I'm the person that we're talking about, while also being the person saying it. It's maybe a little bit meta, maybe that's a bit overdone by now, maybe I should move on from this idea, but this is the way I started the series, and I think it's hilarious. I couldn't resist but use those bits from the top of the roofs from cottage living, and I did it on a kind of curvy roof so that the top could be a right angle, but it didn't have to be straight and boring. That pleased me greatly. You may have realised that this video's a bit of a long un. You'd be right if that was your assumption, or if you'd looked at how long the video was, of course, because that would be an easy way to tell how long the video was, by reading the number. Anyway, it is a long un, you're right. That's because I've got the shop downstairs and the workshop out the back and the house above. It's just a bit complicated, isn't it? Also, the little fake buildings next door. Possibly overkill, but if there's one thing that Europeans like to do, it's to build things close to each other. That's generally because our country's pretty damn small. If you compare, say, the UK to Texas, I think you can fit it in 5 times or something ridiculous. And we have a very dense population. This story isn't set in the UK, it's actually in Italy, as you could probably guess. And I did my best to do some research on buildings of the era, but found virtually nothing. So, instead, I decided to just go with storybook Tudor vibe, because why not? It looks pretty sweet in my opinion. Sweet in the kind of sense of, sweet, but also in the sense of sweet, adorable. I think that works quite well for this. I wanted to use more from the new pack, because it's just so dang cute. Look at it. Don't look at it now, it's not actually there. But it will be. Don't you worry. I also realised that I should separate the 2 rooms, because it was weird to have the workshop on display when it was laid out like this. I had an initial idea, it didn't quite make sense, so I changed it. Wellity. Also, you may have remembered that there were 4 tables there earlier. Don't know where the top ones went, but they're gone now, and I just moved on. I accepted the fact that they had disappeared, and just went, I'm not playing this game. They can be gone now. You win, Sims. You win. There's that lovely wallpaper, and yes, I went around and changed every other one to the other pattern, because there's 2 of them, you know. And then I changed the shelves, because they annoyed me. There's lots of shelf changing in this. I don't often really describe what I'm actually doing in these voiceovers, because to be honest, it's mostly pretty obvious. There I'm fixing the colours because the wallpaper wasn't the same on the top, but now they're fixed. There you go. Feel like you could have guessed that yourself. So why don't I say something weird and hilarious, or at least attempt to? I put some little signs out. Aren't they adorable? I changed what that one was going to be. It was going to be a pub at one point. It ended up not being a pub. And then I wanted something that looked like a toy shop display on the signs for Geppetto's toy shop. And I ended up going with the tragic clown. Just seemed period appropriate and hilarious in Sims universe. Here I'm doing some more work on the little workshop. Isn't it adorable? I can't remember what that was, but I feel like I zoomed in on it for a joke. You can't tell when it's 8 times speed though, can you? So why did I bother? Maybe I thought that I'd pause the video at that point, have a little joke for you. Maybe I'll put a timestamp of that frame, then you can go there yourself. We're about halfway in the video now, and soon we'll be going upstairs and looking at the things up there, because there's going to be a whole little home for Pinocchio and Geppetto up there. But for now, if you don't mind, let's have a little ad break. There, that wasn't so bad, was it? And of course, if you're watching with an ad blocker, then grrr. I can't really complain. I've used one a lot, especially when watching YouTube. It gets a bit over the top sometimes. And of course, if you have YouTube Premium, well hey, you didn't have to watch an ad at all, but you got to watch ad-free for a bit. I've got YouTube Premium at the moment, because someone in my family joined the family plan. Nice. That means I get it legitimately, but don't have to pay. Did you see a second ago I zoomed in on a picture of a frog? You should go back if you missed it. It was when I zoomed in to the little chalkboard. There's a little drawing of a frog on it, and I was like, "Hey, frog." I think I've lost it. I think I've actually lost my mind, because here we are in... What minute are we on now? Let me have a look. We're over 13 minutes in. I've been talking for 13 minutes. I have stopped a couple of times, because I couldn't talk this consistently with making any sense. It just gets to a point where I become entirely incoherent or laugh at myself because I realise that everything I'm saying is nonsense, and then I just have to stop and start over. Not start over. That would be ridiculous. I just stop and then go, oh, where did I get to? That makes sense up to about that point, and then I carry on. It's quite important to do that, otherwise I might leave in some absolute nonsense. I went with quite a bright blue in the bathroom. Not at the moment, haven't done it yet, but you'll see I do in a second. Just because I was going for a kind of Mediterranean feel. I really wasn't sure where I was going with this, but since it's a kind of fairy tale thing, it, for me, just says, yeah, Pinocchio, fairy tale, kind of Italian, kind of Tuscany, kind of Mediterranean, but also, you know, Tudor, fairy tale-y. I feel like you can get away with a lot when you just go, oh, it's a fairy tale, and then it doesn't really matter. And I've managed to use the kitchen set from the kit, oh, what was it? Country Kitchen, that's the one, and also the one from Cottage Living. They're just fantastic, both of those, aren't they? Although there's me using Tool, trying to make it make sense. Because quite often, it doesn't like it. And then I realised I didn't need to use Tool. I could just slide it over, and it was fine. And here I'm spending far too long having a look at bookcases. And I think I cut out quite a lot of footage there, actually. You'd be surprised how much footage I really did cut out of this. Oh, golly. The fun thing is that this is actually a functional home. So possibly you could live on another lot and then have this as a shop and put all the toys for sale downstairs and then live above it. I hate the way you can't actually work and live on the same lot in The Sims 4. Only if you live somewhere else technically, but just stay at your shop all of the time. Apparently that makes more sense. I don't know whose decision that was. I believe little Ms. Sam may have made a mod just for that purpose. But I'm not going to tell you that that exists for definite. You should look that up yourself. Decided to put some more Mediterranean-esque things in there, which is why I did that vase a second ago. And some nice pictures and decor. I felt that I was kind of struggling by this point to make it work, because the theme was pretty mishmashed-y. Mishmashed-y? Yeah, we're going with it. But it's a nice vase. I like that vase. Is that the one that came with Courtyard Oasis, or is it from City Living? That took way too long to think of. You know what? YouTube is going to take that pause and think an ad should go in that gap. But don't worry, I'll make sure they don't do that, because I can, kind of, control where I put the ads. It's all a bit new to me though. I may have made YouTube Partner about 5 months ago, but I haven't uploaded content in a few months anyway, so I'm quite out of the loop. You may have also realised I'm in a different room. You may be wondering, how would I have realised you're in a different room since I can't see you? Well, my signature echo is probably not on this video, even though I am in a room with 10-foot ceilings. But it's not as huge a room as my living room is, because I am in fact in one of the bedrooms of my flat. The audio does sound quite boomy and bassy. I'm hoping I can fix that. But if not, hopefully I'll figure out a better way of recording my audio in this room for the next video I make, and it won't sound quite so much like woo all the time. In about a minute, yes, in about a minute exactly in fact, I do one of those zooming in and pausing on a thing bits. I've actually taken note of when it is though, because I'm really proud of it, and I do want you to see it. Did you know that talking like this actually hurts my voice quite a lot? But I committed 4 videos ago, 5 videos ago? This is the 5th video. How many videos ago is the first video? Would that be 4 videos ago? But is this one? I don't know. Ooh, it's coming up. Are you ready? It's going to be on the teddy bear bit you saw a second ago. There's a bit of foreshadowing for you on that one. But it's really cute, and I just wanted to make sure everybody knew it was there. So much so that I'm doing a run-up to it of about 30 seconds. It's a bit OTT, I think, but it's coming up, and I don't want to miss it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Look at the needle. Wasn't that beautiful? And yes, I actually paused there in real time. That's how long it was. I mean, maybe I edited it. I haven't actually looked. Because I do this bit within another sequence, so I can't see where the cuts are when I do my audio. So I don't know. Maybe I did stretch that bit out like, ooh, yeah, look at that needle. That's awesome. Might have done that instead. Thought I'd put these plants in, make it look a bit more Italian. Felt like plants made it Italian. I've been to Italy before. I know that it's not just all plants. Oh, you know how I said it was going to be blue? Is it going to be blue? When is it going to be blue? I thought that this would be the time that it would be blue. It's not blue yet though, is it? I spoke prematurely about the blueness of the walls in the bathroom. Here we go. Now they're not blue. Please make your mind up. It's making the edit very confused. There we go. Oh, I'm spinning around. I'm sorry, I should have deleted that part, because that was stressful. At this point in this long-ass voiceover, we're getting pretty close to the tour. Oh, and don't those little dolls from Snowy Escape look adorable on the wall? I'm actually really proud of this build. Here we go. There's Geppetto and Pinocchio. Look at his little nose. It was the longest I could do without mods. And here he is going upstairs. This one I'm not going to talk about the story of Pinocchio. It's too complicated. There are whales and cats and foxes involved, and children turning into donkeys. I'm not doing that. Not in this video. Nah, too much work. But here's Geppetto washing his hands, which is probably a thing he would have needed to do in the story at some point. He would have got a bit sawdusty if nothing else. And here's Pinocchio, who is, toy, playing with a toy. So that's kind of, toyception. And here's Geppetto carving out another sun. I don't know. As I said, not telling you the story this time, but he's proud of that. I would be too. It was a nice block. Coming into the toy shop. One of those toys disappeared on the left. Don't know if you noticed it. And here they are, about to watch a puppet show performed by Pinocchio. If you thought toyception was weird, here's puppetception for you. And with that, Katie said, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe to help support the channel. It really does help. The